Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It is Comic Kid here again, and today we have another awesome Hot Toys review for you guys. Now, I guess I should have said amazing, but as y'all can clearly see, and if you clicked on the video, you know that today we are talking about none other than the Amazing Spider-Man from Hot Toys. Now, this is the suit from the first movie, and not the second one, which a lot of people actually prefer. In all honesty, this is actually my favorite live-action Spider-Man suit to date, and I don't know why. It is certainly the least comic accurate of all of them, but just something about it and just the uniqueness to it, like, just totally works for me. And so I am just super stoked to be talking about it here today. I finally was able to track one down for a half-decent price, and given that it's the holidays and I got my Christmas bonus, so here we are. Now, as always, before we get started, don't forget to check out my friends over at Next Issue Podcast. They are great guys. You'll absolutely love them. Just wonderful, wonderful, nerdy people. And then last but not least, don't forget to check out the links in the description as well. They really help out the channel and kind of clue me in on what other types of videos to make for y'all. But without any further ado, we will go ahead and just jump right in. Now, as always with Hot Toys, you have just an incredible sleekness to the packaging. I have absolutely no complaints whatsoever about the box, and I actually like how the corners are cut for the tops and bottoms, and I just think that's an extra little bonus of cool there that they kind of didn't really need to throw in, but they did. But box art aside, y'all are obviously here to see the overall figure, so we will go ahead and jump right into that. Alrighty now, you guys, here he is out of the box and everything, and I know I normally show you guys the insert pieces with like all the accessories and whatnot still in the box, but in all honesty it is a little lackluster just because it's a bit of an older figure, and so Hot Toys definitely puts a lot more thought and detail into like the entire packaging now. But yeah, that's why we just decided to skip that part and just get straight into the figure and accessories review. Now, right off the bat, I gotta say he looks really solid. Like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man costumes, and so I am just blown away by the amount of detail on this guy. If anything, I do feel as though the reds are a little bit brighter than they are in the movie, but the movie does have some darker tones kind of throughout, and a lot of people didn't like it for that reason, but I do think the figure itself still looks really good. Now, you may also notice that he's a bit lighter on accessories, especially in comparison to some more recent Spider-Man figures. And like, I don't know, maybe it's because Miles just came with so many that I'm a little surprised, but I feel like even 2099 came with a bit more variety than just what's available here. I don't know, I might actually be wrong. But as always, you have some wonderful detail from Hot Toys all around. As usual, you have your closed, punchy fists. These certainly come in handy for punching out bad guys such as the Lizard. You also have your web-grabby hands. This is what he'd use to actually like hold the extra webs that he comes with. You obviously have your classic and essential thwippy hands. I just love how the blues and reds just kind of come together in this suit. And it's just so unique for Spider-Man, but also gives it a uniqueness that just complements the character so well, in my opinion. And then last but not least, you do have your iconic and necessary wall crawly hands. So he's not really lacking any particular accessory, although I do feel like they could have probably included more. Maybe like a backpack would have helped. Maybe like a cure or something for Dr. Connors as well, a camera, you know. There are definitely some extra things that they could have included. Alright, and then last but not least, you have the alternate Spider-Man head. Now I absolutely love the detail in this. You kinda can't see on camera, but they even got the hexagonal pattern in the mask right there, and just, it is absolutely wonderful, wonderful detail. The neck does connect down at the bottom there, and it does have a bit of a joint there, and you can kind of see the rest of the mask move as well. But that is besides the point. Now, as far as the actual figure, I love the overall sculpt for this. It looks just like Andrew Garfield in terms of like the body. The head itself gets pretty close, but something about it just doesn't quite capture Andrew Garfield. And so like, it's pretty close. If I had to guess who it would be, like I would guess Andrew Garfield, but Hot Toys has definitely come a long way in their face sculpts. And I don't think it's a bad sculpt by any means, but they've certainly had better over the years. Now, in terms of posability, the joints on at least my figure are a bit wonky. The feet are supposed to give a little bit more than they do, but for the most part that foot's just kind of stuck in that position. That said, the overall detailing on the suit, again, is just absolutely gorgeous. You have the hexagonal pattern and just tidbits throughout the whole suit. Everything about it is just spot on, which is exactly the point to Hot Toys. But back to articulation. The leg does come up pretty far. It will hold that position if you bring the other one up or something. It's just the fabric gets a little tight there. The hips do go out pretty far as well. And the knees are really only limited by the fabric, but that's still a really, really solid bend in my opinion. And so the lower half of the figure is exceptionally well articulated. As far as the ab crunch goes, you do have a double one both there and right under the rib cage, and he goes forward pretty far. As you can see, that does not look comfortable. The legs are still straight, and so yeah, that's a pretty good range of motion in the abs if you ask me. Likewise, he can go back pretty far as well. And so I do think the way the suit is made just wonderfully suits that range of motion. He does have some really, really in-depth butterfly shoulders. Like, those go forward and back very far, and so I think that's great. The only thing is that the arms do not quite go up all the way, at least on the left side here. For mine, it really kind of stops there, and I've given it a little extra oomph, but I honestly feel like I'm going to break it. Now, I don't have that issue on this one. It may just be this figure in particular, but as you can see, the arm goes up all the way there. Now, they also go out and up pretty far. They do stop at a point, and as you can see, the shoulders begin to kind of bunch in there. So you do have that range of motion, but at that point, if you have them that far out, they do start to sacrifice some of the overall appearance. But it's not a huge deal breaker, it just might look a little wonky depending on how you have it. And then of course you have some great double jointed elbows as well. And the classic ball wrists that are always associated with Hot Toys. I do feel like these are a little bit more obvious as well. I don't know if it's because it's an older figure or if it's just the nature of the build for Andrew Garfield, but they're not bad by any means, and so yeah. Now, last but not least, as I mentioned, we do have the head. And the unmasked version does come with a significantly higher range of motion than the masked version. You can actually turn this one if you want. That is how the head pops off, by the way. It's just that little kind of peg piece there, and then you just snap him back on once it's lined up. And so yeah, like overall, very, very impressed with this figure. I am curious to see how the arms are gonna affect him overall, but I mean, I am just super stoked to have him in my collection. Now, spoiler warning for No Way Home, kinda, sort of, not really, so I'll give you like 5 seconds or so to click out of this video or skip ahead like 10 seconds or whatever. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Andrew's appearance in the movie in no way influenced my decision to buy this figure. As I mentioned, it's one of my all-time favorite suits, and so I'm just happy that I found him. Like, this is legit a figure that I never really thought I would get around to owning. And then the last thing that I almost forgot to mention is the webs. Now, Hot Toys has definitely improved their Spider-Man webs in recent years. The actual detail and whatnot on them is perfectly fine. It resembles the movie pretty accurately, but these loops here that connect to the wrist are really where they've started to differ. Nowadays, you kind of connect the webs into their own port on whatever Spider-Man figure it may be. Instead, these are fully interchangeable webs, and so yeah, I do feel like the new ones are significantly better, but I mean, it's also been about a decade between this figure and the Miles one that I did my last review on. But that is about everything that I have for you guys today. As always, be sure to let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments section below. And don't forget to check out the links in the description as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see y'all again real soon.